Good morning, y'all. Welcome back to Homestead. I'm out by one of my gardens today. It just rained. It was beautiful. And I've got a tape measure. We need to talk about a few things, okay? So we've been on YouTube for several years now. We stopped and then we got back into it. We stopped and we got back into it. Roosters are crowing. It's early morning. I'm sorry, guys. There's no other way to show you without the roosters. But this year, we've picked up tremendously. We are almost at 3,000 subscribers, which is peanuts to other people, but to us, that's a lot. The more subscribers you have, the more comments you're going to have, and the more things you're going to have on your channel. So we've been kind of battling that the past couple of weeks, and I feel like we need to address a few things. So, when I show you how to garden, that is not the end-all, be-all. I judge a garden on A, if you're having fun, and B, if you're putting food on the table, but mainly if you're having fun. That's the whole point, okay? Most people today do not have to go out here and grow their own food to survive. So, most people do it as a hobby or for enjoyment. If you're having fun with it, in my book, you're having a successful garden. What I'm doing is pressing it to the limits. This right here, I've showed you building this bed. I showed you painting that block wall. I've showed you all this. And there's no dirt. It's all, well, I guess it is. It's mulch. And that's just what I chose to do. I've built the bed out of pine logs that I cut, mimosa stobs as a little border. And look at it, okay? You can garden any way you want, but we've had people get on here and they're telling us that our gardens look very bad. Guys, that to me is a joke. It's got to be a joke. Our gardens to me look very, very good. I've got a lot crammed in a little space because I'm pressing it as far as I can go, because I've been told ever since I got into gardening during 2019, 2020, I was told that you need to space stuff out and have perfect rows and all this. And the older I'm getting, the more I'm getting good at this. It's like, you know, that's not necessarily true. You garden how you think is best. Guys, we've been told that our gardens look like nothing but a paradise for slugs and snails. I found 3 slugs, and I said I had a slug problem. Well, yeah, I thought it was, but it resolved with pine shavings. I went and got slug poison that was okay for pets. That was $16 for a sack, and I've got it unopened inside, okay? I didn't even use it. At first, I thought I had cabbage worms, so I sprayed everything with BT and 7 Dust. I used both methods, and that's something else. If you do inorganic, then people just do not like that. If you do just strictly organic, people don't like that. They're very peculiar about gardening. We do both methods. I don't care what you do, okay? I don't have a problem with it. To me, if you're getting out here and you're gardening, you're doing the best you can. I've had people within the past week say, "Why are you planting an Atlantic giant pumpkin?" Because I want to. It's no good to eat. Why would you even do that? Because, like I said, you need to keep your interest peaked. This is why young people don't want to garden. Most of the older people that's watching me grew up with grandma and grandpa having farms and gardens. We're not in this culture. If you're 32 years old like I am, or you're in your 20s, you didn't grow up with grandma and grandpa having a garden. Not many of you. We grew up in the computer age. The computer age, everything's technological. People moved away from farms. They went to the cities. That's just the age we were born in. And I've got people saying, you know, it's not just the younger people that want to learn. I understand that. But we're even at a worse disadvantage, because just flip on the news and see what's going on with the younger people. Just flip it on and see what's going on. So if, you know, that's what's cool. That's what's cool, is to go out here, buy everything, tear stuff up. That's what's popular right now. If you're out here just trying to plant some corn in your backyard and you're in your 20s or 30s, I give you all the props on earth. The rest of the older people, y'all kind of grew up in that era where it wasn't so just bad. I mean, the young people right now get online and they're being told that because of the environment, they don't need to get out here and plant this, that it's hurting it. I bet you if you're 60s, 70s, you didn't hear that coming up. That was the norm, to have a backyard garden. I mean, I think it's great if anybody gardens. I'm for young, old, whoever. I'm for it. But I feel like we're at a disadvantage. I also feel like we're at a disadvantage because people will down what we're doing. We're already in a culture that doesn't want this. They don't want you growing your own food. They want you to go and buy. So, when you get on here and put up a video like we do, you've got people at midnight arguing with you whether beans fix nitrogen into the soil or not. I had that last night, and I told y'all on my live stream where I said, party time on the porch, let's celebrate. I just wanted to celebrate everybody's first few weeks of gardening, young, old, wherever you are, because I'm proud of you for getting out here and doing it, especially in the times that we're living in, okay? I told y'all that some of these comments I've been leaving up because I just thought they were comical. I don't know if these people are getting paid to say this. I don't know if they're just trying to, I don't know what they're doing, okay? Or I really don't know if they feel this way. But one last night, they said, where I showed you radical intercropping. This is something I come up with on my own. I don't even know if intercropping is a word. I just think that that's what it should be called when I'm mixing different plants together. When I'm planting lettuce and contender bush beans at the bottom of a tomato plant. It's what I come up with. I promise you, I've not watched this anywhere. I've not seen this anywhere. It's my own doings. And like I said, you don't have to get out here and do it. It's just what I'm doing. But it's working. And the person said, well, legumes do not fix nitrogen at the bottom of plants. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do not agree with that. I think that is false information, and I took it off the channel. I don't want people seeing that in the comments. I don't think that that's right because it works, okay? I was up till midnight looking up studies last night. I'm going to put some studies in the link of this video. Several say, yes, you need to plant beans by corn. Beans are a nitrogen fixer. Beans and peas, they put nitrogen into the corn. However, I've seen studies where people say, no, it doesn't work until next year. It doesn't work at all until the bean dies in the bottom of the ground. Well, let me tell you something. I have these tomato plants. I've got my tape measure. We're going to measure the one that I didn't put one bush bean beside and the one that's chock full of them, and I want you to see the difference. That's what we're going to go by. Your best gardeners are the ones that have been around doing this for a while, and they have learned through the school of hard knocks, okay? There's no way that this didn't work. The Cherokee, the Indians, I don't know if it's just the Cherokee, but the Indians planted the Three Sisters garden. They've got corn in the center. Corn's heavy feeders. I'm going off blind faith when I first started. I knew that online, but I didn't know until I went out there and planted it. And when I didn't fertilize it, it didn't get above 6 inches tall. So I learned, like, hey, this stuff needs a lot of supplements. They planted the corn, and then the beans run up it for a nitrogen fixer, and the corn gave beans support, and then squash at the bottom to shade out weeds. That's why they did it. They figured it out. And now this person's saying, no, that doesn't work. So I'm going to prove to you that it does work. But if you don't want to plant that, that's fine. You don't have to. But these comments lately are getting rough, guys. They're getting rough. And this channel is to encourage everybody to get out here and garden. Like I said, I'm not the end-all, be-all. I certainly am not. We're peanuts, okay? But I'm doing this to inspire others. Like I said, if you're in your 20s or 30s, you could be in a whole lot more different stuff going on than out here planting a garden. If you've got kids, if you've got grandkids and you're older than me, I think you'd be pretty proud and happy that they were out here trying to do this. Something good, clean, simple, fun, and putting food on the table. I mean, but this is why young people don't garden. This is why people don't garden, period, because they're told over and over that what they're doing's wrong. You've got to do it this way, and you've got to do it that way. And I'm going to tell you, when I first started gardening, that's why I started this YouTube channel and put up my most pitiful gardens, because people told me up and down my county road, people told me everywhere, people told me near and far, you're not going to make it. You're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. Just like, don't put chicken manure on your vegetables. I do now, and they're humongous. 10, 12-foot tomato plants. I'm just saying. We've got to be doing something, right? You've got to test the theory, and a lot of these people do know, but a lot of these people, they're just going off what works for them. And people make it to where you have to have beakers and scientific laboratory stuff and measuring the nitrogen of each day of the plant and blah, 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 blah. That's too much. People don't want to get out here and fool with it, especially if they can go to Walmart, Piggly Wiggly, and everywhere else and go buy food off the shelf. You don't want to hear all that. It's discouraging. And like I said, I don't know why this is such a thing right now, because I really don't know if people are getting paid to do this. I thought it was these bots. It still could be. I don't know. But to bash someone's garden constantly and bash what they're planting, why they're planting it, even asking how long have you been in this location, acting like I don't even know my own state. I was born and raised here. So it's just rough, guys, and it's tough. So if you are going to listen to what people say, not discussing things. Not discussing like, hey, you ought to try this, this may work, or hey, it's blah, blah, blah. Not nice, friendly stuff. But if people are just badgering you, if you're going to listen to that, then you don't need to garden. If you are going to think that this is such a scientific experiment and it's so hard and you can never grow anything without dropping a seed in the soil, you don't need to garden. You don't. If you're going to come out here and take it, I mean, just to the extreme, okay? Or take what other people are telling you. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. So let's get over here and measure this. Let's hope I don't step on anything. And this right here, these are both Better Boys. Better Boy, Better Boy. They were planted on the same day. It was 3 weeks and 2 days ago. 3 weeks and 3 days ago. And they're in the same condition. They are 2 feet apart. Let's see what we got. Now this one has carrots at the bottom. Has 1 kale plant. He is 14 inches tall. This one right here, it's got an English pea running up the side, and I put contender bush beans all along it with kale. Let's see how tall he is. If y'all want to fact check me, zoom in on the video. I can't move it over here right now, and you can see the inches. We are at 21 inches and 14 inches difference. 21 with contender bush beans and an English pea beside it. 14 inches. There's the results. That is putting nitrogen into that soil. I saw studies last night that said it might in very small amounts. Even if it's a small amount, it's doing something, okay? Now, my corn back here is a foot high. We're at the 5th leaf stage on a lot of it. I'm gonna plant pole beans beside it. You know why? I'm gonna plant Cherokee Trail of Tears because A, I want nitrogen beside it. B, I'm gonna side dress it probably with chicken manure right here in front of my house directly. I'm gonna do ammonium nitrate. That's just what works for me. It's a heavy feeder, it needs it. Pole beans can climb up it. I have done this before and it's pretty hard to get them to do just perfect. They want to crisscross to the other stalks and all, but I just want to try it. Also, back on the nitrogen. It may not affect it until it dies, okay? Until the bean plant dies. When you look at a bean plant, if you've ever grown beans before, I don't know if this person had or not. They can't even see this. I removed them from the channel. But leaves will drop constantly. That's adding matter back into that soil. The plant's trying to die at the same time while it's trying to grow and keep growing after you've picked the bottom where the beans mature faster. I'm not going to be able to crop rotate here because I wanted it that back wall. I'm not going to have corn in the front to shade out everything in the back next year. So guess what? I am adding nitrogen to the soil, even if it dies and doesn't add nitrogen until then. But I promise you, there's no way on earth that beans and peas do not add nitrogen while they are still alive to a plant. So if anybody saw that last night, I hate it. I'm sorry. That to me is just pure misinformation. That's my own opinion, okay? I'm showing you the results. That's why I get out here with a tape measure at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm wanting this to be a fair and just channel. But guys, if you're going to listen to all this and you're going to get so wound up by what people say, and if you're going to listen to everybody's perfect method of gardening, you don't even need to garden. You don't. It's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth it, okay? If you take everything that I say to the golden standard, it's not going to be worth it because you may find a method that works good for you too. This is very subjective. This is not objective, okay? This is my opinion, my climate, my soil, my seed. Your seed may be bad. We had trouble with tomatoes this year. They didn't come up for nothing. It may have just been the seeds in the packet. I'll still order from that company. I think the company's great. They've been good to me. I'm still going to order from them. But I still think it was bad seed this year. I did a video on that. Some of them come up, some of them didn't. Overall, I didn't even press that issue, but no, they did not do well. I'm going to try again. But a lot of it is it's the condition. It's everything down to the seed, the soil. Get out here, have fun. This channel's for fun, guys, okay? We're going to have fun. We're showing you. That's why I call it radical gardening. I'm coming up with this stuff as I go. I think I do have a good knack for gardening because I've practiced so much. Am I the best? Absolutely not. But I'm just showing you different ways you can do it. And I'm showing you how to have fun. And I'm showing you as a 32-year-old who quit 2 and 3 jobs and came home full-time and put 75% of our food on the table. That's what I'm showing you. And that's not easy. And to me, especially if you're young and you're out here doing it, kudos to you. If you're old and out here doing it, kudos to you. One last thing. On one of the articles that I read last night, someone said, you've got to have all this organic matter in your garden. I talked about that yesterday. That garden does better than my other, but the other still grows, okay? It still does. And they said, you've got to have this and you've got to have that. And it was discussing the nitrogen, whether beans, legumes, put nitrogen into the soil or not. And the person said, look, that's fine and dandy. But where I live, I've got a problem with what you're saying. Am I not supposed to garden? Because I don't live where there's any trees. I can't go and get leaves and I'm in my garden. I don't have the best of luck with that. Wherever they live, I don't know if they lived out in the desert or what, but they said, we live in a subdivision, a very small yard, and we have no trees. So I can't add and amend leaves to my soil. I don't have room for a worm bin. I don't have room for all this stuff. I don't have time. And I think the person had went on and said they were disabled maybe. They had physical problems where they couldn't get out here and do it. And they said, I thought that I could just buy potting mix and plant in it and it would be okay. And the author of the article never responded back. That was in the comments. And I thought, that's sad. This poor person thinks that they can't get out here and garden, okay? Yes, you can go get potting mix. You can drop some seed in it. And it'll do fine. You don't have to touch it since. It may not be the biggest harvest you've ever had. It'll grow, okay? That's why I said this is misinformation. So if you're going to listen to stuff like that, then you just don't even need to fool with it to me. You just don't. And like I said, you've got people saying that this is bad for the environment now. There's a big push for that's coming up. Looks like it's helping it to me. I don't know. But I'm making use out of dead material that, I don't know. So just get out here and have fun. Okay, guys? And this channel is about fun. We're going to have fun, and we're going to keep on going. We'll see you guys next time on Harmon Homestead.